Welcome everybody. We are going to be doing It's All in the Hips, hip mobility and glute warm-up. This is going to be a great one for before a hard leg day, or if you just need some good hip movement, which is a really important thing anyway. So we're just going to start with our hands on our hips, taking this leg, we're going to bring it up, bring that leg out, and bring it back in. Good. Out and in. So with this, you really want to focus, especially your balance here, obviously, keeping your core engaged, that canister aligned, all the things that we talked about already. But here, you want to go slow. So really open that hip up, bring it down, and then just tap forward. So a lot of us have really weak hip flexors. It could be because they're super tight. It also could be because they are just weak in themselves. There is a difference in how you approach that. Go ahead and bring it down. Let's do the other side. And it's important to kind of figure out, do I have a tight hip flexors, or do I have kind of like just weak hip flexors? I did a reel a while ago on this, and I probably should redo it. So I'll make sure that I'll pop that in the description of this video so you can take a look at how to test for yourself. Good, one more here. Awesome. Now we're going to take our foot, bring it up into like a rainbow, and tap to the other side. If you want to tap, you can. Otherwise, just hover around the ground. Bring it up. Good. You might feel a little cracking, a little crunk in your hips. As long as it's not painful, that's okay. If it starts to be painful, or if you feel like some impingement, then take a break. Maybe go up. Maybe if you want to keep going, then just don't do as much range of motion. Definitely something to be aware of. One more, and we're going to do the other side. Good. Shake it out. Tap to the front. Bring it up into that rainbow, into the side. Something you could do here too, if you need kind of a visual, you could put a chair in front of you and maybe try to bring your foot up and all the way around that. So you don't, lower it down, no cheating here. Good, keep it going. Good, let's do one more here. And tap to the side. All right, rear lunge. So again, I'm going to keep my hands on my sides. I'm going to go into a rear lunge, lean forward, feel my glute really lengthen here, back up, and then come up and balance. Bring it back, bring it down, up, and balance. When I'm coming down, my tailbone is going straight down, so I have more of a posterior pelvic tilt, not letting my booty come out, and bringing that hip forward. So even putting your hand on your back may be helpful in just giving you that feedback that you need to know that you're doing things right. Thinking about your canister aligned here, even as you lean forward, you're aligning here, chest is open. Good, one more. If you're feeling like your hips are already getting a little sore, that's all right. This is also a good strengthening workout for those hips as well. Going to that rear lunge, other side, same thing. If you want to up the ante a little bit, having some ankle weights would be a good one to do with this. Of course, they are optional. Totally don't need them. Good. Let's do two more. Keep that canister nice and aligned. Tailbone going straight down. Always in control. Let's finish up this one here. Woo! All right, shake it out. Feeling it. All right, we're going to go onto the ground here. Tabletop. If your wrists bother you when you're doing this, go ahead and make them to a fist. Okay? So we're going to go into a tabletop here, and we're going to bring I'm going to use my right leg, knee up to a 90 degree. I'm going to open it up into a fire hydrant, and then bring it down. So 90-degree, fire hydrant, down. So here, you want to make sure that your hip bones are staying towards the ground. You're not opening it up like this. That's cheating, okay? We don't want to compensate. We want to bring it out to the side, keeping those hip bones down and as steady as possible. Keep it going. Use your breath. We're not holding breath here. Check your back. Are you letting it arch? Looking down. Nice neutral spine. Core is braced and engaged here. Nice and long. Good. Keep going. Woo! Feeling it in the glutes here too. Stay focused. One more. Finish it up. And release. Shake it out a little bit if you need it. We're doing the other side. Here we go. Bring it up. Side. And down. Now, try to notice if there's a difference between one side or the other. I know I can feel my left side is a little bit more tight than my right. I just know this because of how it feels, but also my range of motion just isn't as much. So kind of pay attention to that. It might give you clues into maybe, you know, if you have weakness or if you feel like you're off balance on one side. These are all clues into kind of some symptoms if you have leaking and that sort of thing as well. You can be tight or weak on one side versus the other. Very common. Keep it going here. Keep those hips down. Trying to get nice full range of motion here as much as you can. Let's do one more. Good. All right. Oh yeah. That's a good one. All right. Going into a front lunge, or I should say, coming down into a front lunge. So standing up, we'll start here. Front lunge, nice and long. Hips are forward here. So this is a nice hip flexor stretch here. And then we're going to bring our knee down, let that foot come out, and go into a hamstring stretch. Hold it as long as you want, and then come back up, leaning forward, chest is nice and open, down, press that foot down, hamstring stretch. Feel free to stay in one spot if it feels particularly good to you. Again, that anterior pelvic tilt is not what we want here. We want to bring that tailbone down. Good. Let's do one more here. If you're keeping up with me, check it. Down. All right. Other side, and this is it. You can always continue doing this. You redo it. You can keep going with some of these moves too if they feel really good to you. Or if they're super challenging, and obviously not painful, then you know, try to keep doing them, because this is going to help your hips with stretching, with those weaknesses, those weak points. Because here's the thing, if you're weak, if your hips are tight, truly tight, and they're weak because of tightness, that's where you want to stretch. But if they're weak because they're weak, like they're not tight, then you want to strengthen them. And if you do the opposite of what you're supposed to be doing, you can make symptoms of leaking and that sort of thing even worse. So keep that in mind. Make sure you figure out what kind of hip flexor issues you may have. All right, let's do one more. And that's it. All right, thanks for joining me for some hip mobility and glute warm-up stretch.